Today, in a first ever for this channel, thanks to my useless scheduling, we're having a world first, at least for this channel, a double review. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the 2005 Ford GT, and then after we finish reviewing this, I'm going to jump into the Dodge Viper ACR and review that as well. In the meantime, roll the intro! Hello everyone, welcome back to Dealership Tycoon, it is me Ditto. So let's get on with part 1 of the video. The 2005 Ford GT. Hello Jeremy Clarkson. So for those of you that don't know, this is essentially a modern recreation of the Ford GT40 from the 1960s. And Jeremy Clarkson reviewed it on Top Gear. Twice, actually. Little weird. And he bought one, and it was horrendously unreliable. Hence why a lot of people think Ford stands for Fix or Repair Daily. Anyway, I think it's really cool. It's a shame it's quite unreliable, and a lot of people forget it because of its modern day successor, the 2017 Ford GT. But this one's a good one. Supercharged 5-litre V8. It sits at just 43 inches tall, which is 3 inches higher than the GT40. Hence why the GT40 was called the GT40. Please tell me you all knew that. Anyway, this is very cool, often overlooked. There was also a Roush GT40. Roush is essentially Ford's AMG. They don't make cars very often, but they did a Roush version of this GT, up the horsepower from 550 to 650, and as if 550 horsepower wasn't enough for, you know, the 2000s. Blimmin' heck. And I have to admit, model-wise, I love the Ford GT in real life. It's a very, very pretty thing. I insist on driving all my cars with the standard suspension. And for some reason, I can't tell, but I can't tell why, but it looks like, I don't know, maybe the wheels are out of proportion or something. It just doesn't look quite right, so I'm having to resort to driving it like this, so then I don't see the suspension. It doesn't roll, but that's because Dealership Tycoon pretty much doesn't have body roll. See, CDT's body roll is too much, Dealership Tycoon's is too little. Just can't get a good one, can you? Fortunately, however, in Dealership Tycoon, it's quick. Very quick. I'm driving the tuned one here, but as you can see, despite my lag, I am doing a rate of knots. And that's because, I know it may not seem like much, but 550 horsepower back then was bonkers. It was 40 more than a DB9, nearly 100 more than a Vanquish, more than 100 more than Ferrari 360, and like 150 more than 911 Turbo. Ludicrously powerful, and hence in Dealership Tycoon, it is extremely quick. But that's because it's American. The real test is if it corners. In real life, the GT is supposed to corner really well because, like the GT40, it was developed by Brits. Well, the cornering stuff was done by Brits anyway, because Brits know how to do corners properly. Sorry, America. Thankfully, it's fun. I quite like it. Like, look at this. Here we go. Hairpin, brake. Brakes are really good. Steer through. It's really good fun. Feels very, you know, direct. You can definitely feel the turn. and it's fun to do so. and it can hug apexes really well. It's easy to drive, like, you're not having to constantly focus on braking points and whether I should be lifting or braking or accelerating or what. It's easy, it's simple, it's fun, and I have just rolled it, god damn it. And now it's time to drift, so, drift tyres on. Where's the drift? Here's the drift tyres. Couldn't find them. So we have just ruined the handling of the car, but we have made it more slidey. Which is good. I'm going to drive into the city now with a bit of tail out action. There's no steering when you turn with drift tyres. I forgot how bad it is. Right, come on. Here's the city. And bit of handbrake in. Okay, that's interesting. My inputs are slightly delayed. It is annoying me. And I have just crashed. Okay, so from what I can tell, it does get its back end out, but it's too grippy, which is a good thing. Some cars are meant to be drift cars, some cars are meant to be track cars. This appears to be the latter. So, why don't we test that theory? See how it works as a track car. In fact, this thing did go racing. They made a GT3, which is like the worst name I have ever heard. Like LaFerrari levels of bad. Right, come on. Does feel good. That corner was good. I can't think of any words other than good right now. Right, flat through the sweeper. You never have to lift there, but thought I'd mention it. Brake here. All nice. Got the checkpoint right on the edge and then hopefully flat out. Oh no, I had to lift. And in a 3320. Actually really impressive. Well done, little Ford GT. Now, I have just realised that the 2005 GT is 186 miles an hour stock. More than the 180 we need to tune a car. And I was driving it tuned. Whoops. Oh well, no matter. Now you've just got a tuned review. Anyway, now I've jumped into the other car we're reviewing today. This amazing Dodge Viper ACR. Based on the final generation of Dodge Viper. It's the second ACR. The first one was based on the... I can't remember all the Dodge Viper lineage. All of them look exactly the same apart from the first generation because that was made out of kayaks. I'm not even joking. They did genuinely cut up kayaks to make the first Dodge Vipers. Because Dodge were bust. The Viper is a refreshingly American take on a supercar. 8.4 litre V10. The first one had an 8 litre V10, which is still being used in the last Viper ever made. Dodge have announced they're not making another one. Fuck you. But it's actually a lorry engine that was tuned by Lamborghini. And I think they know a good bit about V10 engines. Actually, no, they didn't. This was the first V10 that they'd worked on. But they do know a lot about making things go fast and look spectacular. The first Vipers were ludicrously insane and definitely you could see Lamborghini in them. This looks insane for a different reason. Like, look at all the gills and stuff on the bonnet. The amazing wire-held splitter. This enormous rear wing. And that means that they've turned the supposedly haphazard Viper into an amazing track car. So it's said, and I'm happy to believe them because this Viper makes 1 metric ton of downforce at top speed, I think. An entire metric ton. That's a lot. Now, downforce works by catching the air going over the car in numerous different things. So that diffuser, the big rear wing, and the canards and splitter all make downforce. And they use that downforce to shove the car into the road. lower centre of gravity, more grip. And it also means there's more traction. But this does come at the cost of speed, which is why a 911 GT3 does 198. And the same generation GT3 RS, 184, despite having 15 more horsepower. And you can definitely feel the effect of the downforce of this particular Viper. All the cars around it seems to do a 0 to 60, that's the acceleration figure that you can see in Dealership Tycoon. They seem to do it in, you know, stock, 2.75 seconds. This, 3.23. That's not good, and you can definitely feel it. I mean, I know I have just come out of a tuned Ford GT, but this does feel particularly sluggish. I get the feeling this may end up becoming my Lexus LC500 for Dealership Tycoon, or my Audi TT-RS. I'm still angry about the Audi TT-RS. And I mean, it's not like it makes it up in the corners either. Understeer. Well, not understeer, more terrible steering. No feel, and the tyres get tortured everywhere. I did that at 60 for it to get round. That's bad. And that downforce also means, well, it should mean it stops better because, you know, air friction and shit. Well, here we are, doing about 120. Well, 80 now. Stops averagely. A little bad. As you can tell, I do not like this. And considering this is supposed to be the really corner, grip-focused version of the Viper, it means that it doesn't have the lurid Viper tail happiness. Like, watch this. Here we go. Send it sideways. Snaps back out of the drift instantly. You can barely get it sideways at all. It's crash-proof. You can't spin off. What a load of shit. This week isn't a good week. I've tried 4 cars. 3 of which I don't like. And 1 of which I'm not even sure if I should like it or not because I drove it tuned and not standard. Anyway, here's the race circuit. This is where the Viper was intended for. The real life one, because the in-game one is dog. Off the line, with the effort of a sloth. Up the hill, it's struggling a little, which is annoying because 8.4 litres means it also has a lot of torque. You could probably pull a house with it. Only apparently this one can't even pull its stripped out self. I am very angry with this thing. More power. Come on, you're American. That's what you're supposed to do. Go fast in a straight line. Although apparently this is demonstrating another aspect of America. Obesity. It's fat. Come on, flat through here. No. Despite the fact you're really slow, you can't even go through there flat. Because you are terrible. You don't corner properly. You're slow. You're irritating me. I'm getting very, very angry with you. Hold on, let me go and cool myself off. Now, I will admit I did actually make a bit of a cock-up with this. I said that cars around this price do 0 to 60 in about 2.75 seconds. I hadn't accounted for the fact that they had an engine tune on, not just I'd taken off the turbo and the intake because I'm too used to, Actually, no, why am I saying I'm too used to CDT? It's like that in CDT as well. What was I thinking? Anyway, it's still much slower than them. It is better with this engine tune, but as you can see, just not worth it, to be honest. Sorry, Dodge Viper ACR. Guess I'm just going to have to stick to your CDT equivalent. And with that, back to the GT. I haven't detuned it because I feel like that's probably going to ruin it a little bit for me. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I like it, just tune it. Tell me if it's bad when it's tuned or not. And on that bombshell, I think there's actually a car I prefer to the GT. It's called the Dodge Viper. Thanks for watching. That really was a bombshell.